Hey, welcome to a great Thursday, and I hope it's a wonderful one for you. So come on in with me for just a moment, take a little break, grab a cup of coffee, relax just a little bit, sweet tea, whatever your fancy is, and take a moment. Let's share a thought or two together for a moment. Sometimes when we live in very challenging times, and people are not always what you think they ought to be, we can tend to get pretty cynical about people. There's a great Old Testament story in the life of Jacob. You remember the old patriarch Jacob, sent away by his parents to find a wife, finds the place, goes to the home of his eventual father-in-law, Laban. Laban seems to be a great guy. Glad to have you here. You shouldn't work for me for nothing. Name your wages. And he says, I'd really like to marry your daughter, Rachel. He says, all right, work for me 7 years. I'll give you my daughter, Rachel. At the end of 7 years, finds out didn't give him the daughter, Rachel. Gives him the daughter, Leah. He says, I really wanted Rachel. Well, agree to work for me 7 more years, and I'll give you the other daughter as well. And so he ends up working 14 years, and then beyond that, children come, and finally the day he realizes, I've got to get out of here. Because Laban is not an honest man in his dealings with Jacob. When you deal with somebody like that over time, and maybe you're very patient, and Jacob seems to have been pretty patient about it all, dealt with a lot of things. He said, you've changed my wages 10 times. I've been with you about 20 years, and, I've got to go home. And he finally does. Great story. Great story. A lot of twists and turns in it, and you can make your own determinations about a lot of things in it. But they come to a point when Laban has come and they've met. Jacob has escaped with his family, and they've met and they've talked about it. Finally, they're going to come to an agreement. And it said, as they sit down and they make a covenant between them, it says, basically, they say to each other, Mizpah, realize the Lord's going to watch between you and me. In other words, I don't really trust you that much. Realize the Lord's going to watch between you and me when we're away from each other. There's some positive to that too, and we often use it that way. But Jacob and Laban, it was more like, I don't really trust you that much. Think about how cynical we can get about people. Think about how we can look around us and we can think everybody's out to get us, everybody's out to do us harm, well, maybe not everybody, but the people we don't know. And even sometimes among the people we know, we think all they're in it for is just to see what they can get out of me. And undoubtedly there are people like that. 1971, a song was written, first recorded by the Temptations, but made a hit by the Undisputed Truth. Smiling Faces. It's kind of a cynical song in a way, but it's a warning song that says, watch out for those smiling faces. For the line says, smiling faces tell lies. They don't tell the truth. Beware of the pat on the back, because it just might hold you back. I remember when the song was very popular in the early 70s. I remember I had a good friend that he ran around singing that song all the time. He didn't sing it well, but he sang it. But I thought about that song, and isn't it interesting that a group called the Undisputed Truth would make a big hit out of it? Because in the minds of many, that idea of cynicism, of doubt of people, is just the common way of life. Everybody's got to be watched because they're all out to get us. Government, business, neighbors, doesn't matter. They're all out for themselves and they're all out to get us. What? Kind of a tough and pessimistic way to approach life. It's just contrary to what we find in the New Testament scriptures. For there we find the reminder that we are to be brethren, we're to be family, we're to be tied to one another, we're to seek one another's good, and we're to trust one another. The great example is found in Jesus' own statements. You think about that wonderful passage, the beginning of the 14th chapter of John, where Jesus says, you believe in God, believe also in me. Trust me. Trust me. Great message, great power about it. Because sometimes we might think, well, Jesus was just in it for himself. No, not the sacrificial Jesus, not the one who gave it up for us all. You believe in God, believe also in me. He's going to do what he's going to do for you. I know there are people that we don't trust, but let's don't be cynical about them. Let's give people the benefit of the doubt. Let's let people be honest with us. I know if we open ourselves up to it, we might get hurt. But we just might find great reward in it too. Sure, a lot have let us down, but I think a lot more will lift us up. Let's set aside cynicism today, and let's think more positively that those smiling faces really are just exactly what they are, and they mean the very best. Might just make your day even a little bit better. Hey, I'm glad you're with me on this Thursday. It is a very good day, and I hope it's a blessing to you. Good things are happening, and we look forward to a brighter future in the days ahead. And let's keep our faces smiling. Again, thanks for being with me today, and we'll share some more a little further down the road.